Here I go, eating my first tamale. Heck yeah.
Growing up, I can't say I really enjoyed eating tamales too much, and now I'm like, yeah, give me them things.
Greetings, dearest viewer. Let me paint you the story of the tamale. In 1982, the Concio family made 30 dozen tamales for Christmas. That's right, dearest viewer, 360 tamales made by one family. 40 years later, the descendants of that same family, the Cable brothers, or at least 4 of them, decided to give their best effort at recreating that same amount of tamales. Well, no, definitely not that many tamales, but at least some of those tamales. Let's try 15 dozen. With the help of some friends and a lot of hard work, as well as a few failures along the way, they were able to recreate those tamales. Here's how that day unfolded.
Ended up with short ribs and London broil, which is a lean cut. I think the beefs turned out well, but cut them up smaller because we didn't have like full roasts. It just didn't give enough time for the crock pot to do its thing. And then obviously we put 2 crock pots on one outlet and the breaker blew, I think, so it wasn't actually doing anything for an hour and 45 minutes. But other than that, I think in the future, start the meat the day early, just let it go low and slow overnight. Pre-shred it. That's really easy.
One question real quick on the meat. The old recipe says boil.
Yeah.
We stayed away from that tonight.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't think that's really. You could do that too. It does help to make the broth, because then you have like a really light meat broth. What I decided was a quick sear just on 2 sides of the meat chunks, and then bolstered up the beef broth a little bit with some.
All right, on to the chilies.
Yeah, this one was tough. I think we were just misguided by the recipe. We ended up with probably a half of the pure not ground, but blended chili and water remaining from what we used. And we only used 4 pounds of chilies for a goal of 15 dozen tamales. I was kind of expecting that to be wrong. So I think we can correct that ratio to maybe 1/4 part or 1 to 4 of the actual other ones, where those are supposed to match per dozen, like the masa and the meat is supposed to be per dozen. Like Mom said, we're just washing the chilies. We think way too many chilies.
How many chilies?
We've got 5 pounds of chilies. The recipe calls for 15 for 30 dozen. So we're 2 under, and we all just think this is way too many chilies.
All right.
But we're gonna use most of them, maybe 3 bags, maybe 4. But they need a little rinse first, and then we'll do the process of cutting the tops off, knife down the middle, shaving out all the seeds. That should be done with gloves. So we'll all of us go out there and do that because we got hours. Cool. Yeah, these are just the peeled chilies that have been seeded, and they just get boiled for a while to soften them, make them easier to blend. I pulled some juice out of there from the last batch, and we're adding that to the blended chilies after.
Oh, let's go out here then.
This is just the chili boiling water. So the chilies are in here. Small batches.
Boiling water there.
And then the chili water to reinforce. These are taking a lot more water than I remember. I'm going for this consistency, where it's like a sauce. It'll thicken down to like a gravy, and that's what
almost looks like a spicy tomato sauce.
meat simmers in eventually. Note on the chili, because then we add back to that. I think we can grind it with less water, hotter, and it'll still be a bit chunkier to concentrate the chili flavor a bit more. It gets kind of watered down with the beef broth. I thought so that could be a little bit more intense potentially. Masa I think went the smoothest today. And Joey, bring that red crock pot over here. Mark, this is the masa.
What's happening?
Look at find the salt. Okay, here's the salt.
Oh my god, salt.
It should be in that little glass. Yeah.
Nailed it. Perfect.
So we have our little bit of masa. If we whipped it appropriately, the fat will be very well mixed in, and it should be hydrophobic and float. This is the first test. You never get it on the first one.
Oh, except this time. Guys, we have masa.
Let's go, baby! The masa's floating.
Hi, Abby. How are we doing?
Doing good.
Good.
Doing good.
Okay, so tell me about your tamale making experience.
It's a long day. Got to figure out our ratios next year. Got to get that worked out a little bit. Work out the kinks. Had to figure out the ratios in the tamales, but I think overall it's a good day.
What ratios are you talking about here?
The spatial distribution of the masa and the meat. Having enough room at the top, enough room at the bottom. Having it all go together well. I feel like I've done this a lot.
You're good. Notice you holding down the masa table over there. How was that?
My hand hurts, but it was a good day.
A lot of time with the mixer?
A lot of time with the mixer.
Yeah.
Did not break it though.
There you go.
So, big win.
When you're making masa, what are you looking for it to be ready?
Have it float. Because you have to whip the lard enough that there's enough air that it lifts the masa. It doesn't sink to the bottom of the water.
Awesome. How many tamales did you eat today?
Only 3 so far. Got more to come.
There you go. Love it. Thanks, Abby.
Yeah.
The husks, we just gotta buy. I always forget how many you lose. You know, if you're really trying to maintain like a high quality tamale, and not kind of patch some together. So probably need to double the amount of husks just to make sure you get good big ones.
After the masa, we were on to the actual prep. And that, from my take, seemed to go real smooth.
That was smooth, yeah. Many hands make for light work. I think we had a good amount of people just kind of cruising on things. Meat shredding was really quite a tedious job. Again, I don't think our meat was where it needed to be texture-wise. We just didn't have the time and we're a little bit delayed, but still made it work, still shredded, and it came out really good. I also like those cuts, a little bit more flavor in the meat and a little bit more fat, not a ton. So happy with that, the meat all around.
Good, dude. You want a little bite?
Poke
I'm gonna give you we're gonna go through.
Okay, Jack and Lex, having so much fun here.
Oh yeah,
How was your tamale making experience?
It was good.
it was a lot of fun. I've always been curious about the process, and I'm glad you had such a great set of guys and girls to make it happen. It's fantastic.
Love that. What was your favorite part of the process?
I think it was probably folding them, figuring out like had the ratios, the spread, the getting it folded up nice, and then of course eating it was probably
Nice.
the best part.
Lex, what was your favorite part of the process?
Ripping the meat.
Ripping the meats. Being
The-
part of the, what were we called?
The Schmeat Bros.
The meat bros.
Lex and the Schmeat Bros?
Yes.
Wonderful.
Fuck yeah.
Heck yeah.
Sorry.
What happened to my fork?
Yeah, I just grabbed one.
Oh, they're down here left by the.
Do a little shred here.
A little bit more meat.
A little shred.
What do we think? Turned out good?
Yep, looks great. And then let's see the fold.
Make sure the jar of olives is over there.
Yeah, that's the one thing we're missing. And over,
Or you just leave them out.
and that's a tamale.
Bam.
Olives. We
Yeah.
included a few olives.
Yeah, I got
Did we do
one
that right?
because I think because Meg found it, but yeah, I think we only did maybe 12 olives, maybe 1 olive per dozen, which is actually a pretty good ratio. Now that I
Does
think
keep
about
with the tradition of good luck there.
it. Yeah,
So
I like that.
the odds are stacked against you.
1 per, and we.
All right. Hi, Joseph. How are we doing today?
What's up, gang? Having a blast. Wonderful Black Friday here, making tamales.
How's your tamale making experience?
It was wonderful. You know, it's always a blast to do with such wonderful company, and I think we absolutely killed it, figured it out, and paved the way.
What was your favorite part of it?
Favorite part? I gotta say, seeing some of the newcomers and first timers here, packing their first tamale and learning the way of water. Shout out Avatar. But no, seeing them do that and enjoying it, learning the process.
Yeah. What do you think about the tradition?
Fantastic tradition. Love it. Would love to do it more. And growing up, I can't say I really enjoyed eating tamales too much, and now I'm like, yeah, give me them things. So I love it. Let's make them and eat them all the time. Why not?
How many tamales did you eat today?
I had 4. I think maybe in the next 45 minutes or so, I'll probably have a couple more.
Love it. Thank you, Jobert.
Thank you.
Okay, Tim, if you could describe the tamale making experience in one word, what would you use to describe it?
Family.
Okay. Second choice of words.
Still one word or other words?
Other words.
Yeah, I mean, it's super cool to be able to recreate this family tradition with friends and family here. Something that we all grew up doing, that was passed on to us through generations, and now we're able to be the next step with that.
Would you say that your tamales were better than the previous tamales you've made, or worse?
I can't answer that question. I'm not getting in a fight here. This is going out to other family.
Tim,
That's a good question, though.
Tim, who discovered the most olives out of anybody in the room?
It was Meg.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, thank you for your time, Tim.
Yes. Hi, Meg.
Hello.
How was your tamale making experience?
Pretty good.
Tell me more about that. Why was it good?
It was good because I learned new skills.
What skills did you learn?
How to properly fold a tamale.
What does that process look like?
Well, you got to get the right amount of masa, and then you got to throw the meat in there. Then you go
Nice. How do you spell masa?
M-A-S-A.
Not matzah? All right. Thanks, Meg. Okay, we're here with Mark. Mark, tell me about your tamale making experience.
Beautiful day. We really got to it right at the start. Couldn't have done it without the whole fam and the friends, of course.
That's great. You didn't talk at all about the tamales. What was your favorite part of making the tamales?
My favorite part was probably dissecting the meat, really breaking it all down, using those 2 forks to really get after it.
Cool. All right. Anything else to tell the people back home?
So the people, you can do this too. You don't have to be alone in tamale making. Or Mexican. You can do it, man. We believe in you.
All right. Love it. Sam, what did you think about tamale night? All right. Well, that's a wrap.
Still did a total of 140 tamales, which is just short of 12 dozen. Our goal was 15 dozen, and that's what we bought for. We were short on masa, primarily. Meat, we were well past. We have an extra 3 pounds, probably, cooked weight, so that should be adjusted in the recipe. And then I'm trying to think. That's really only the components. Husks, yeah, a little bit more. Lard was I thought the fat to masa was perfect. The masa was good. We'll just have to build that up a bit better, ratio-wise. But I mean, leftovers are never bad. Honestly, like the meat can go to work. But I think we should get a typical recipe that you could part out and just yield what you expect to yield.
Cool. Yeah, so we did this with 8 people. And you kind of run point as head chef on that, and then different people taking different things.
Yeah.
How would you kind of scale this if there's, say, a family of 4 trying to make this? Maybe a couple people isn't quite enough there, but
yeah.
How would you think about that if people at home are watching this and thinking that they want to try this?
Yeah, I think the bare minimum is probably 3. I think 3, working hard, you can do it. Again, simplifying your prep, kind of like a Thanksgiving meal. So meat in the morning. The chili is like, you all get together, clean them, boil, blend. It's not really hard. It's just a lot of steps. Yeah. And then I think you'd have to just team up for peeling the chilies and seeding the chilies. I also think we could have kept more seeds and more veins, maybe. Get the chilies a bit hotter, if we wanted to, if that's like a goal. But that can always be played with. And then I think the making, really, the chili cutting and then the assembly of the tamales are where you need to be good.
Cool.
Or we need all hands on deck, I guess.
Yeah. Cool. Any other
thoughts here as we
Final
debrief on
notes.
this.
Final notes. I think that keeping the water at the right level during steaming is a challenge because you want to keep the tamale up and off. We had a couple that got submerged a little bit, leading to a wetter tamale, which maybe like too wet. So my master plan was glass pots, which I know they make, but I don't know if they make in that size, nor with the appropriate steamer basket. But our steamers all did a good job. We ended up kind of lucking out with the size of the pots and the steamers. So. Yeah. Other than that, I think it was a pretty good first go at it, but definitely some good corrections we can make potentially.
Yeah. Now the last question: what do we do with all these extra tamales?
Yeah. I think maybe when I was packing them up, I think a good amount are spoken for. We'll probably send each kid with a dozen, and then a dozen back to the parents, a dozen to Meg's parents. She's got a couple friends, and then a dozen to my friends. So. I think they'll go pretty quickly, actually. I don't think there's many extras.
Yeah, looks like we'll have to try this again.
Yeah, and we will.
All right, great stuff. Thank you, Chef.
Signing off.
Okay, here I go, eating my first tamale. I unwrap the husk.
Beast.
Looks pretty good. Look, I got a lucky olive. I'm not gonna eat it though, because I don't like olives.
On your first one.
You got an olive? Oh, hell yeah. Happy Christmas.
That's
How
good.
many you guys got?
Broth a little bit with some base and with some seasonings.
Sorry about that.
So I think it had good cooking flavor.
Nice.
Have a break.
Yes, sir.